days from now, nobody will stop me from being the one that'll throw the switch and gas you out of this life for good, you son of a bitch!
Get away from her, you bitch!
I'm connecting the bypass circuit now, sir. It should take another half hour.
Captain, one of the aliens has just entered the bridge.
Understood.
We're less than 1 million kilometers from the pulsars. We must...
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Women of Nerd Culture. We are the Women of Nerd Culture. I'm Sarah, one of your hosts, and with me as ever is your other host, Becca. And we have another special guest this episode. You may have noticed. Member of the Nerdy Up North community, overlord of her own community. You may know her as Sliding Sloop or Sloop. Also, co-host of Rumblecast, part of the Nerdy Up North family.
Yes,
Yay.
I am.
Hello.
Which next episode, April the 9th, if you want to tune into that.
There
you go, get the plug in, get the plug
Excellent.
in.
I kind of never know when to expect you to come out, so I just kind of say, and there will be another Rumblecast.
Yeah, we'll planned that one
Or
ahead of time
Rumblecast.
because there is a bad pay-per-view that we'll have to watch for that
Rumblecast.
okay. So if you want to watch three people groan over a terrible wrestling pay-per-view, then that might be for you.
Okay, that's good.
Now, it's still Women's History Month, and we're in particular celebrating women this month. We've asked Sloop on as a representative of the local Northeast female Twitch scene, female wrestling fans, female gaming fan, movie fan, all sorts of stuff. Would you consider yourself a nerd, Sloop?
See, it depends. So for me, it depends what you ask us about. But I always find that for me, nerds tend to be very into one particular thing, and it's almost like a borderline obsessive about it. I would say I've got less nerdy as I've got older, less obsessive about certain things. I have more of a broad church approach to things these days. I'd say there are probably things that I would say I'm quite nerdy about. But I don't know if I want to class it. I don't think there's any shame in being a nerd. Some possibly.
No shame at all.
There's
No
possibly.
shame at all.
Possibly.
Now, as you may have also guessed, Sloop is a fellow northerner, a proud northerner.
Oh yeah.
I'm outnumbered this podcast.
Oh,
Absolutely proud of it. And I just like the fact that I can get a chippy tea for like 10 quid. I don't think I could do that any further south. So that'll satisfy my needs.
But no, chippy teas are great, but what is the best thing about the north and why is it Greg's?
Fair point. Steak bakes, proper top drawer, and then they still do stotties. You can still get a nice packet of 2 stotties for a reasonable price. And they are, Greg's get a lot of bad flack for like, oh, it's cheap and cheerful. It's not even that cheap anymore. But their stotties are still top drawer and are always soft in the middle.
Yes, that was actually something that I didn't realise was a thing up north until I moved up here, that the Greg's menu is different.
Oh yeah. I don't think they get stotties further
No, you don't.
south
No,
than
not
Durham.
in Bristol.
No.
You don't. No, 100%. And what's the one that you used to get up here but you don't get down south? What's the other one?
There's quite a few things like
There
that,
is,
though.
yeah. But I was completely thrown by it.
I've even had fun in Manchester asking for a Savoy dip.
Oh, I don't know what they are either.
No.
No.
One thing I will say is you can buy stotties. There is a bakery in Newcastle. If you live down south, anywhere in the UK, and you want stotties, you can actually buy them and they will ship them to you the next day.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
And I love that you know
great.
that.
Well, it was a bakery because I used to, when I lived in the East End, it's in Shieldfield, the bakery. I think was it called Big River Bakery? I think this is not a plug. I mean, you can try it if you want. And they do actually deliver stotties, and they've even got their own little like sort of plushie of a stottie.
That's amazing.
Oh God,
I'm gonna get one for
I
I'm
need
gonna
to
get
look
one
that
for
up.
Chris. I'm gonna get one for Chris.
I think it's called Scotty the Stottie or something like that.
Oh my God.
Something like that, yeah.
That's brilliant.
But the stotties are good, and it's like a community run thing. So I feel like I'm plugging them, but it is a nice little business, and they do like cooking classes for people like with disabilities and people trying to get into employment and stuff. So yeah,
I'm gonna find their link and I'll put it below because
yeah,
Scotty the
Scotty the Stottie.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find them. They're gonna
I
get.
mean, even just for that, but no, that those classes sound amazing as well. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all for giving them a plug for stuff like that.
definitely. We'll find them.
Yeah. End plug and
End
Yes.
plug.
scene. There you go.
Sarah, I discovered something this week because obviously I've now got a little bit more access to behind the scenes, and I've discovered that we have someone who listens to this podcast off the coast of America. So,
Wow.
Our podcast.
yes. So, if
Wow.
you are the audio listener who listens to us on a ship, because that is my theory at the moment, that is my headcanon, I want to hear from you. You know,
On a ship.
it's got to be on a ship. It's got to be. I want to know who you are because I just want to know who you are. So send me a comment, send us an email, find us.
We'll try and send you Stotty. We can.
Yes, we will. I just need to know who this person is because
That's amazing.
it came upon
That's
it came upon
brilliant,
the
yeah.
figures, and I was like, who's this person? I want to know who they are. So if that's you, let us know.
Be some dolphin with a podcast listener thing on, swimming around the Atlantic.
Yeah, it amazed me, so I just need to know who this person is.
Wow. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, but right, one thing I wanted to ask about obviously is we know you're not streaming currently and haven't for a little while now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We wanted to ask you about your experience as a woman on Twitch though, because
Right.
I've caught quite a few of your streams and I loved like how you interact with your viewers, and honestly,
Yeah.
all of the sound effects, and you just you like
Nonsense,
this.
you mean? Nonsense.
Well,
Nonsense.
the thing is, nonsense gets people watching and staying.
True. Yeah.
If I've one thing I've noticed, like from loads of different streams that I've watched, it's things like that keep people coming back.
Mm.
And it's like you've got a sick, not quite a sixth sense, but like as soon as something happens, you bang on it.
Yeah.
You're dead quick with it. Uh, God, yeah, it's just kind of like how honestly you're playing the games and stuff. Like, if you're not finding out straight away what's going on, you'll still just wander around going,
Yeah.
I will find out what's going on even if I don't know now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people can tell when you're trying to blag a
Yeah.
game. Like, I've never went out my way to play stuff that I'm good at, and I am a person who, um, so I suppose I'm a bit of a nerd for gaming because I did used to like games, and as an only child, you've got to entertain yourself, and gaming
Yeah.
was a big thing for me. And I think when I approach a game, there are certain games I don't enjoy. So I think I mentioned this when I did used to stream, games where you don't have like a set target or a set of targets. So Elden Ring, right? I know people adore Elden Ring, and I think I've watched people play it. I like watching streams of other people play it.
Mm.
I have tried to play that game so many times, and because you're just sort of dropped in and you just have to ramble around, I can't, I can't play the game.
I get you
It just,
completely.
I can't do it. Whereas if you give me something like Grand Theft Auto, or it's an old Assassin's Creed game or whatever, you've got things that you need to hit, your quest lines, you kind of know vaguely where you're going, and you can kind of ramble in between it, but you've got your set path. So I'll always play games with a set path nature. That was my main thing when I was on that. But in terms of the kinds of games that I would play on Twitch, horror games I wouldn't, because I'm terrible with horror games.
Oh, I hate horror games.
Oh, I did a charity stream a few years, three years ago, maybe it's 2 years ago, and it was like a Halloween charity stream, and I played Outlast.
Mm.
Only an hour, only an hour. I was having palpitations by the end of that stream.
Bless
I
you.
deleted it immediately as soon as I finished it, and I was just sweating buckets, and and there was clips of his screaming because I got jump scared and all that sort of stuff. But anything else, I'd play platformers. I'd play things like Fallout and RPGs and stuff. I'd play like point and click things,
Mhm.
and I used to try and theme me nights. So Tuesdays I'd do point and clicky stuff. Thursdays would be a bit more platformy and like shitty hard games like Super Meat Boy and Tolio, where I'd just be quite bad, I think, and rage in it. But then I'd somehow manage to finish the game, which I think is a skill that I've got. I'm not actually good at anything, but I somehow managed to get to the finish. And then Sundays I would do like more like a casual sort of like
Mhm.
Stardew Valley type thing, or those sorts of
Cozy
games.
games.
Cozy, that's a good way of putting it. And I did enjoy it. I think I was quite lucky on Twitch in the sense that um there are obviously women do get a lot of objectification, let's be
Yeah.
quite frank. I was lucky enough not to really get a lot of that at all.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes you'd get the occasional nod all that would come in, but I think every streamer gets that. I don't think that's
Yeah.
specifically like a because I'm a lass or whatever. But in terms of that kind of weird sort of sexualization that some women get on Twitch,
It's
a lot of women
weird.
get on Twitch, it's very strange. Um, I didn't really get that, and I think I know it's sad to say, but I think that's quite abnormal. And I think I was really
Hmm.
lucky not to have that.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's because before I streamed, I was already in a lot of other streamers, some communities watching and stuff like that. And some of them kind of came over when they found out that I was starting to stream. And so I kind of already not knew these people because obviously I've never met them, but we already had kind of interactions and things like that. Um, so yeah, I think I had a good experience on it, but for me, I had to just stop because real life got in the way, and I
Yeah.
couldn't really commit to it anymore.
Yeah.
And I can't see myself going back to it because it is a lot of work. People just think,
Yeah.
oh, you just sit in front of a computer for however many hours, but you're kind of aware that you're on screen and you have to like be there, be
Yeah.
present. You can't just like pick your nose or
Yeah. Pick your
I
nose
was
was the
just
one I was
doing
gonna go for.
like and stick your finger in your eye and wiggle out a bit of sleep or whatever, or pick
Yeah.
your tooth and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think my experiences on Twitch were mainly positive. And I didn't get that sort of weird vibe stuff that some people unfortunately get.
Yeah.
No, it's good to hear. It's good to hear because, like, I mean, from the vibe that I got when I was watching your streams was that everybody just loved chilling out and like talking and
Yeah.
hanging out. Like it was like going down your going out for a coffee with your friends or going to the pub with your friends for a bit, to be
Definitely pub for
honest.
me.
Pub,
Because I
yeah.
don't drink coffee. So it'd definitely be an alcoholic
Hmm.
beverage. But that was kind of the vibe you want because
Uh-huh.
like I don't know if this is sort of sounds very privileged, but there's a lot going on in the world. So you need to have somewhere where you can go where that isn't encroaching so
Yeah.
much that it
Yes.
overtakes everything else. It overtakes all your thoughts and stuff. And obviously there's people who don't have that privilege and are not able to do that and whatever. But I was hoping sort of my stream would be just you can come in for a couple hours and make fart noises or honk Mambo number five at is or do whatever you want to do and watch me be bang average at stuff. And I think it went fine. It seemed to go fine.
I enjoyed the sessions that I came to. I came
Yeah,
to a couple of streams and I really enjoyed it.
I loved honking at you.
I did. I love the honks, and I liked it when people try to like line them up.
Hmm.
And some people, I think it was Harold. Harold, who was a frequent watcher, and another gentleman called Rob, who used to watch quite a lot. And I think they're the only two people that managed to get it spot on because I had two honks. You had the first bit of
Yeah.
Mama number five, then another bit of Mama number five. And if you line them up, it creates one long sequence.
That's
And
hilarious.
they were the only two people that managed to actually line it up, and it become like a little game, almost like a sub game while you're watching me play a game. Very
That's
strange.
brilliant. That's brilliant though. I do love that little strangeness. It's cute.
I mean, that's it. Obviously like your audience isn't going to always like every game that you
No.
play, and they're not necessarily going to want to see the gameplay, but to kind of like just interact with you, interact with the other stuff that you've got going on screen.
Yeah.
Like, I just loved
I mean, it
it.
did become a bit of a running joke that it would take me so long to start the game.
Yes.
Um, like my first stream, it was just me and someone I knew from my old job would pop in and just sort of chill
Mhm.
out. But then obviously when more people come in, I was like, oh, hello, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. And then yeah, it got to the point where I think the longest it took me to start a game, about an hour and 40 minutes into the stream. And I'm going, what am I doing? Like, and then some smart arse. I remember this. This is the one real arsehole that I got. Some smart arse came in, and I had, do you know when you obviously you put your subject or your labels or whatever,
Mhm,
what you're
mhm.
playing or whatever, and I put the game up that I was planning to play. And it was about an hour into the stream, and we were still cracking on. I hadn't reached the bottom of chat. We are still talking about some bollocks, and they come in. They never seen them before. They were new in chat, and they said, "Oh, have you started such and such? Yes, I said, no. We're just doing a bit of chatting at the minute, but yes, I do plan on playing that at some point soon. We just need to get the bottom of chat or whatever. And they went, if you don't have the correct labels on your stream, you can get reported. And I was like, Okay, we are going to play this game, but this is just like an intro before we get to that game. And they were really shitty about it and really arsy about it. Going, oh, well, I'll report you for like mislabeling your stream. You're like, get a life. Fuck off out me streaming. Bugger off.
There are some
Like,
jobs worse in this world.
what is that person doing? Just scooting from like label to label and going, are you playing it? Are you playing it? Not like, excuse me, you're not started this game yet. And just that sort of petty shite. That was probably the most awkward pain. And I never got another lucky thing I never got on Twitch that I know a few people did get that I used to watch is follow botted.
When you get
Which
like the thousands.
yeah, exactly. And when
Yeah.
I first started streaming, it was that was at the time where there were loads of them hate raids where people were raiding bots in
Oh
and putting
God,
loads of like
yeah.
horrible racist crap on
Uh-huh.
people's streams and stuff, and it was forcing Twitch to basically delete channels and things like that. Because the thing that people don't realize is even if you're not streaming, what's in your chat you're responsible for.
Yeah.
So you might be away from your computer at work or whatever, and if someone's in your chat saying all this horrendous stuff, Twitch can lay it at your door. But luckily I didn't get any of that either. But yeah, my stream was just hopefully a little bit of a little an oasis of silliness in what is quite a stressful world. Which sounds really arrogant, but I
No,
hope
no,
it was
not at
fun.
all. No.
It's damn accurate though.
Yeah.
What made you actually want to start doing a Twitch stream at the beginning though? I mean, I know you've mentioned your first stream there, but what
Yeah.
made you want to go, I want to try Twitch?
I was it just after COVID, and I was living on my own. It was the first time I lived on my own, and I had nothing to do, basically. And I thought, oh, this is fun to watch. Like I started watching Twitch in during COVID because everyone was fucking stuck in the house and we're going to go
Yeah.
anywhere. Apart from sort of watching the same episodes of Homes Under the Hammer on BBC
Oh God.
every day.
Those are the days.
Oh, that and what was that? Oh, that rubbish antique one where it was like two antique people in a car and they drive around
Oh
to
God, I know
different
which one you
places.
mean, but I can't remember the title.
Oh God, I remember all them episodes, and I think I watched
Um.
Murder She Wrote a hell of a lot. So I just got the point when I sort of moved in on my own that I was like, well, it'd be nice to just do something, and I had I had a laptop that was quite I could play good games on it. And so I just bought like a not very expensive microphone. And I thought, well, why not? So my first ever stream I did in my living room, with a crappy little I think it was is it this? No, it was another headset that I had. And I just did it. And then the person who I knew from my old job popped in and we just started we were chat. I thought this is quite nice.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I thought, oh, I'll just keep doing it. Do every so often. And I don't know, just sort of it was fun at the time and it was just a nice distraction. Better than doom scrolling the news.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I thought, well, I can talk shite quite easily, as you can see. And that's what many streamers do a lot of the time, unless they're hardcore gamers and they're too busy like 360 no scoping people on COD, and all that kind of nonsense. But yeah, it was just a bit of boredom and just a bit of, oh, I'll just see what this is all about, sort of thing. And the great thing about Twitch, it's definitely got its bad points, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's free to sign up, free to stream. You don't have to have any sort of you don't have to pay Twitch to actually put your stuff up on there. Obviously, if you go into affiliate, you have to give them a bit more kind of information and stuff. But if you don't want to do that, you could just stream to your heart's content.
Yeah.
So there's not really much of a barrier for entry on that. Which
How long
was
did you
also
do it
good.
for?
About 2.5 years, I
Okay.
think, about that. What year are we in?
25.
25.
I asked this on the regular, so I get you.
So yeah, I think it'd be closer to just under 3 years, I think,
Okay.
overall. And that was from like actually starting all the way to finishing last summer. So yeah. Not that long, really, in the grand scheme of things compared to some
Mm.
people, but long enough. Long enough.
Oh. Uh, we were thinking this month, with this being Women's Month, obviously in particular, Becca's gonna do our first stream on
Oh,
Twitch. We
But
don't know
no,
when yet. We
and I don't
haven't
know what
actually
game.
planned a date, and we don't know what game. It's
oh,
just something
okay.
that we're thinking on over on Nerdy Notes channel. We're gonna go. Becca does her first stream. Have you got any tips in general for new people wanting to try Twitch?
Um, Stream what you want to stream is the main thing. I think a lot of people make the mistake of trying to like please the people who are coming in.
Oh, I
If
won't be doing
you're
that.
if you're not enjoying, yeah, if you're not enjoying actually doing your stream, don't bother because
Hmm.
people can tell if you're not into it. People can
Yeah.
tell if you're not enjoying what you're playing. Like there was one game I played, and it was a game. It was similar to Stardew Valley, and but it was like you were a funeral directory type person. You used to dig up people's corpses. Grave finder, grave
Funeral
keeper,
director.
something like that. Now you're
Might
not a
be our
funeral director,
game.
but you're just a guy, somebody who,
Or
packs
graveyard keeper or
corpses up.
something like that, is
That's
it?
it, graveyard keeper.
Graveyard keeper.
And I thought, oh, it looked a bit Stardew Valley-ish, but you've got
Hmm.
corpses in it. Let's see what that's about. And I just could not. It was so um things were locked behind things were locked behind things were locked behind
Uh,
things, proper time sink, and I'm like, nah. And people could tell in chat, I think a couple of them said, you're not liking this. I was like, nah. And I just said, fuck it. I'm not going to play this. I'm going to pack it off. And I very rarely gave up on games until they really, really annoyed us. So just do play something that you want to play, and don't be afraid to be shit.
Yeah, because that's gonna happen because
Don't
I'm
be
not a
afraid.
gamer.
Do not be afraid. There's a game that I play called Tolio, which I can recommend. It's really good fun, but it's horrendously difficult in parts. You play a bird, and
Okay.
you just have to like skid and jump through past spikes and like checkpoints and stuff like that. Dead straightforward, dead simple, but it was hard. But
Okay.
and I wasn't great at it. I think I died 7,200 times before I finished the game.
is
But
that
I
an official
loved
number?
that. Is it? I think I've still got the game saved. I think it's about
Oh, wow.
7,274, something like that. And
Okay.
I died and I died and I died and I died. I died in the same places, the same places, the same places. But it's one of them games where you're so close. You just have, I'll just fucking try again. Just keep
Yeah.
trying again. And I think the fact that I was so agitated about myself being shit made it more entertaining for people to watch. Watching someone be mint at something can only, I think, only go
Yeah.
so far. That's why I'd rather watch somebody play a game that's either knowingly terrible, and has weird stuff in it, or
Yeah.
they're bad at the game because it's one, it's entertaining to watch people be bad and whatever, but it's
Mhm.
also good to see them overcome it eventually when
Yeah.
they finally get it, you're like, yeah, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so don't afraid to be bad. Play what you want to play, and try and just interact with chat. Just pretend you're kind of having a normal conversation with them.
Yeah. Okay.
It is hard to sort of balance because at the beginning I found it hard to balance like doing the thing and reading the chat, and eventually I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to do the chat stuff and read that and go through it and speak to everybody. Then once we're at the bottom of that, once I've done that, then I'll go on to the sort of the
Yeah.
game stuff and just keep an eye. Also having two screens is an
Yeah, I
absolute
think
must.
I'm gonna have to change
Um,
my setup for this. I'm gonna have to figure out
yeah,
how to get two screens, but we'll see. I'm excited because I have been on a stream with Chris while we played Fallout and
yeah.
Fallout London, and it was hilarious. It was so good because I love Fallout. I love Fallout London even more
Yeah.
because it's so British. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but we'll have to just
Mhm.
wait and see when it happens.
Yeah. Well, go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You don't enjoy it and you don't
Precisely.
do it again.
Precisely. That's
And
what I
oh,
said.
you love it, and then you
Yeah.
think, oh, I'll do this more often. But yeah,
Yeah.
I used to stream with just one screen, and then my chat would be on my phone. But it's a lot easier when you get a second screen. And I didn't even get an expensive one. I just got
Mhm.
one that could just show the window.
Yeah.
And then my laptop's where I would have the game, but then chat. You just need something that will display chat for you.
Yeah. I might
You
use my
don't, yeah.
Kindle or something.
Yeah, just as long as it's big enough for you not to have to keep doing this, which is what I
Yeah.
used to have to do
Yeah.
Yeah.
on my phone. Or just get like a second-hand old monitor.
Yeah.
And if you've got an HDMI cable,
Even better. Yeah.
something like
Oh
that,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorted.
Um, yeah, so I think go for it and
I
just enjoy
will.
it.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Enjoy
advice.
it.
Oh, that's lovely. And that goes for like anybody out there, not just Becca.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
please take this advice.
And make
It's
sure
kind of,
actually, I think Nerd Up North, you'll already have all that sort of stuff on your channel. But if you are streaming on Twitch, get yourself a good bot that can take out all the crap, the racist and the harassment stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
That'll block them. I had a bot, it was really good, that you literally just allow it to be a mod on your chat, and it would basically have an algorithm or whatever in the background or code in the background that will keep a list of people who've knownly been banned for that sort of stuff, and then would just
yeah,
immediately block them so they could never come into your chat.
that's good.
That's a good bit of advice as well, because
That's a
unfortunately
really
there are
good one,
some
that.
bad actors out there who like to troll people.
There are.
So I can give you,
Yes.
I'll message you later with a recommendation for the bot as well, because I think that would really help. And you don't have to pay anything for it either.
Brilliant.
So.
Thank you.
Anything you can get for free is great.
Yes.
Oh dear. Shall we change the subject for a little bit?
Go for it.
We know that you are a big wrestling fan.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Of course, as one of the hosts of Rumblecast, are you really enjoying going back through the old matches? And is there one in particular you'd really love to go back to over the others?
So before the network went, WWE Network RIP, I went back. So I started watching 96-ish was probably the first time I really saw any wrestling. So everything before 96 was kind of a bit meh. So I didn't watch WCW either. I was very much, WWF back then, and that was what we had on the telly over here. And my cousins and we used to just watch it because he had Sky. We used to tape stuff. So I've gone back. Oh, I was going back when WWE Network was a thing to watch old WCW pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So things from like 91, 92, 93, 94. Loved it. Loved it. And I was like, why didn't I watch it at this time? But then I would have been too young to understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And so my era was boring. Attitude Era was when I remember and when I started watching. And then I kind of stopped watching sort of mid Ruthless Aggression era, which is I would say probably about 2005, 2006. But I have, when they put all the stuff on Netflix, I have been enjoying watching the older stuff again, like the early 2000s stuff that I kind of dipped into but never really was massively into. I haven't kind of watched any old new stuff, so I haven't really watched that much from 2010 onwards, to be brutally honest.
Right.
But I think it's a good thing that they've made it all on or put it all on Netflix, because I think it's a bit more easy accessible internationally anyway, I think.
Yeah.
My only complaint is that there's a lot of stuff that was on the network that is no longer currently available. Like a lot of the old NWA things and AWA stuff, Mid-South, and I never got to watch any of that because it was just too much to watch. But no, I think I am enjoying going back and seeing stuff that I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a bit of context, because obviously the Attitude Era, you had a bunch of wrestlers and well, that's really cool. But now if you're going earlier, you get to see what Stone Cold was doing before he was Stone Cold.
Yeah.
You get to see what Mankind was doing before he was Mankind and all that sort of malarkey. What the Undertaker was doing before he was even the Undertaker.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Wasn't very good. Wasn't very good.
It's so hard to imagine though, because like people like The Undertaker are so like iconic. It's hard to
Yeah.
imagine them like before that.
Yeah, I think the matches I've seen of him before he was Undertaker, there was one match I saw of his in WCW where he was Mean Mark Callis, which is basically he was just tall man with short red hair, and he was just large. Wasn't that good, to be honest. I think the Undertaker gimmick worked for him,
Yeah.
but before that, meh. And then he was in other places before that, but I've not really tracked any of that stuff down. But I have enjoyed sort of tracking back, and I did get back into wrestling. Why did I get back into wrestling? I don't know why I got back into it. I think something. It was a particular pay-per-view that I caught, or a particular premium live event that they call it these days. It's a pay-per-view. I'm always going to call it a pay-per-view. What was that? What was it? It might have been something to do with Drew McIntyre. that got me back into it because I remember him from a while back because he was in ICW, which is Insane Championship Wrestling up in
Mm,
Scotland.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just what has got us back into it. And I just started rewatching things and going, oh, I really enjoyed this. Let's go and watch that again. And yeah, and then obviously, AEW, they're around now and they've got stuff that's on ITV4, so sometimes I try and
Yeah.
watch a bit of that as well. And
Mhm.
then North Wrestling, the local sort of big-ish promotion up here. I do go to some of their shows as well and have a whale of a time
Yeah.
watching a bit of that up close and personal.
And
So yeah,
again, that obviously wrestling fans and wrestling's kind of like it always used to be more male dominated. But a lot more
yes,
recently, I've seen a lot more female fans come into it. Obviously, we've got
yeah,
you as one of the hosts of our wrestling
mm,
chats. Um, I even read that it's like as many as like 45% of wrestling fans are
wow,
female these days.
okay, that is
Um,
more than I thought. To
yeah,
be
yeah,
fair,
Way more.
it's way more than its female to male ratio on Twitch.
yeah,
Um, I always thought they were kind of I didn't necessarily see it as it was only men as fans though. I just kind of thought
mm,
they were there, just not as visible. Um,
mm.
how I mean, how have you found it as a female wrestling fan?
The local stuff. The last show I went to at North was where are we? March, February, beginning of February. There was quite a lot of lasses there.
Mm,
And they're not just there with their other halves, they're there because they want to be there or they're out with mates or whatever. I do think, obviously, there's a lot more female wrestlers now.
yeah,
But then when you look back, so back in the 60s and 70s in Britain, a lot of a lot of wrestling fans in the audience were women. My
mm.
grandma used to go to wrestling shows.
Wow.
That's
Um,
amazing.
she was famously, well, in the family anyway. My mum said she watched a wrestling show one day that my grandma was at, and she was hitting Mick McManus, who was a well-known heel at the time, with a handbag in the front row. So that it was actually older women that would go to a lot of the wrestling shows back sort of in the 60s and 70s, and maybe it's even like the early 80s and stuff.
Mm,
And it seems to be even when you look at the really old early 90s WWF shows, the TV shows, you still see a lot of women in the
yeah,
audience. I don't know when that sort of changed, or you might have a point that they were always there, but they weren't always the ones that had the cameras on them.
yeah, could be.
Um, I think there's obviously female wrestling is far more mainstream now. There was a period where in the 80s it was, reasonably popular. You had some very well-known wrestlers out, Wendy Richter and Judy Martin and all that sort of stuff. Then it died off in the 90s. You had
Hmm.
literally Alundra Blaze or Medusa, whichever, thingy you watched. And then you had some, the Japanese stuff was where the women's wrestling really was. And then it's only since probably China's probably what kickstarted them actually taking an interest in putting female wrestlers back on the TV again. And I think that visibility of more female wrestlers has probably meant higher visibility of more female fans.
Yeah.
And I think it just feeds itself, to be honest. But yeah, it feels like there's definitely more visible women in the audience and
Mhm.
obviously wrestling now than there was 20 years ago.
That's amazing. But I wouldn't have thought China was the place for it to come back to being
Oh,
popular.
Japan. Sorry,
So
Japan.
I was
Yeah.
going to say
Yeah.
that sounds. I was going to say China.
So it was Japan. So you had sort of All Japan and New Japan and people like Bull Nakano and
Yeah.
Aja Kong and all
Hmm.
that sort of stuff going on. When there was a lull in America, Japan was where all the women's wrestling was.
That's amazing.
So
I find it really fascinating.
That's really interesting.
There's such a history around it. I wouldn't have expected it, but obviously I've been watching your streams with
Jake?
Jake. I forgot
yeah.
Jake. No, sorry, Jake. Sorry, Jake. I completely spaced that. Apologies. I've been loving it because I've never grew up in that type of family. We didn't watch that. It was football. My brother and my dad's life is football. And I've never watched wrestling, but I'm really enjoying your streams around it
Okay.
because you guys have got so many interesting facts, and I find that really funny. And the fact that I'm getting to watch old programs, I love.
There is some like really random stuff that you learn when you read up about pay-per-views. I just watch pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And you do a little bit of digging on Wikipedia and stuff like that. You find out facts about matches. And there's just some matches you think, how is this even a thing? How did this even come together? It's either such a bad match that you think, what the fucking hell am I watching? Oh, it's such a good match. I think this is amazing. I want to find out how they managed to put this all together and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, it is. I mean, don't get us wrong. Wrestling's got its crap. There's a lot of bad people that have been involved in that industry and are still involved in that
Yeah.
industry, unfortunately. Um, so by watching, the older stuff, we're not trying to ignore the fact that that is the case. We're
Yeah.
just trying to kind of focus a little bit on the actual content of the pay-per-views themselves. Because once you start digging into personal lives of a lot of wrestlers, you'll find a lot of things that you don't want to find out, sadly.
Yes,
Without naming
unfortunately.
any names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we'll just try and focus on kind of that sort of stuff more than getting bogged down in it, because you can go and Google someone easily and find and all that stuff on them anyway,
Yeah.
and then you can make a decision if you want to engage with it or not.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the
I
series
am.
and
I
all that
am.
information.
I am. There's a lot,
Yeah.
but I love it.
There is a lot. There's still a lot of wrestling to watch as well. And a lot of facts to find out and forget again, because your brain can only take in so many
Yeah.
facts.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, for me, I've not watched like the older stuff. It's kind of like,
Mhm.
but I have fond memories of watching it in the early 2000s because
Yeah.
I used to watch like we had like Shawn Michaels and Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero and things like that were like at the heyday when I was watching it. And I wasn't so much into like soap opera, but I liked the drama of the wrestling really.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the thing, like you can enjoy the wrestling for the technicality of it and the
Yeah.
art of the moves and all that sort of stuff. But you can also enjoy it because at times wrestling is extremely silly and
Hmm.
extremely goofy, or really, just overly dramatic and just daft.
Yeah.
Like there's one of my favorite matches ever, just because of how silly and overbooked and nonsensical it is. But it's nonsensical, but it makes sense because it sets a lot of things up, and it makes sense because of the characters that are involved in it.
Mm.
And sadly, it does involve the old head of WWE, who is not a very nice man. But he gets a chair shot to the head, so yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Is Steve? They've just put it up Strange on the Vault, and I watched it a couple of times, and I've realised I really fucking love this match. And it's Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Dude Love at Over the Edge in 1998, and it's the crowd are so into it, the characters are so dialed in. Everybody knows exactly what they're doing. The finish is ridiculous. It just becomes carnage, and I like that kind of wrestling, but I can also appreciate the more technical stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
watch a Kenny Omega match or something like that and enjoy that. So I love the fact that it is such a broad church, and like you said, you've got memories of certain types of characters or matches, and not necessarily the soap opera stuff, but you can have a memory of something else, whereas someone else can enjoy the soap opera stuff and the comedy stuff, and that's why it's a nice, interesting sort of broad. There's just so much to pick. It's almost like tapas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
It's
can
kind of
leave
like
the stuff that you don't like.
Yeah.
I really liked thinking of it now as like somebody who has studied like a martial art in the past.
Mm.
Um, it's kind of like it all comes under the umbrella of wrestling, but each person has their own style. And I just
Yes.
really loved all of that side because obviously you've got to go to the gym and get yourself into a certain shape to like be able to do that kind of
Yeah.
wrestling because it is very high energy, high octane, all this.
Yeah.
Um, but then to keep like the accuracy of the moves and things like that as well. It's
Mm.
just I find that really impressive for like um for some of them as well, because like you've got people with like these huge massive shoulders and they can still do
Yeah.
really intricate little moves and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like,
I just think
how did you
about
get your shoulder under there?
and just when you see men who are like 6'4",
Hmm.
6'5", 400 pounds, how many, but yeah, 20 odd stone, maybe,
Hmm.
like a Vader or whatever. And he's doing like moonsaults off the top rope
Hmm.
and he's flying through the air. And you think,
Yeah.
what is this? Like, I'm half your size, mate, probably less. And I can't even do that. I gotta
Yeah,
get stretch out when I get up in the morning, sort of thing.
yeah.
So it's physically extremely impressive. But then you also got to think it is theatre. That's
Mhm.
essentially what it's
Mhm.
just theatre with some sport sort of wrestling moves chucked in.
Yeah.
I just find it, yeah, it's just fascinating. And you get, and I know there's a lot of physiques in it. It's very physique heavy, but you
Yeah.
still get those guys who aren't physiques and who are just
Mhm.
as interesting and just as over because they're more characterful or they've got something else that they're better at doing, like the promos might be better or whatever, and you
Yeah.
can gauge with that a bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good thing to just find what you like and enjoy. And obviously, yeah, there's different stuff for different people.
What would you choose as your entrance tune?
Oh, is it gonna be like, could it be any song?
Anything? Anything? Absolutely anything.
There's no rules to it.
Hmm. I've thought about this before, and it would be something stupid. Oh, what did I say? I remember having this conversation with somebody. Oh, hold on. I think I put it on my phone. I'm gonna try and find it. I'm
All right,
sure I did.
what about you, Sarah? When Sloop
While
finds
I'm
it.
looking,
Oh
while I'm
God.
looking.
Yeah.
While you're looking, oh God,
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, it's the question that you kind of go, oh, I like to know the
I've got
so
I've got it's the final countdown.
Oh, like Brian Danielson.
yeah.
I don't
Nice
know.
choice.
I've never watched it properly, but yeah,
Yeah, he's
whatever
I
works.
think
brilliant.
Whatever works.
if I could, if well, I'd probably like to choose like a big rock one, but
Yeah,
I can't get past the temptation to say Peaches by Jack Black at the minute.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one. That would be a good one.
that's hilarious. All right, where is it? 2 seconds. Sorry.
I could be one of those silly wrestlers that kind of
Oh,
like hits people with heart balloons or something.
it was Bongolia by the Incredible Bongo Band. It's just a bongo song,
Oh,
but it's
right,
it's
yes.
really funky, and I can just like strut down to it. Even if the character I was playing was like deeply serious, I'd
Yeah.
still come out of the bongos because I think it'd be a nice, like, strange, like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah,
Yeah. How do we take her?
Yeah,
yeah, I like it. I like the
yeah.
style.
And if you want to listen to that song afterwards, feel free to do so. It's a fun little ditty. It's a fun little ditty.
Oh, excellent. Oh dear. You know what? While we've been thinking that, I've had a memory pop up from one of your streams
Oh God,
about
sorry.
the DVD throne. Do you
Oh,
remember the DVD throne? I think you've been talking
Even
about
I
Nick.
know about
Yeah,
this.
I think you've been talking about Nicolas Cage and the apocalypse, possibly
mm,
connected, possibly not.
okay.
And you would be the only one with any type of physical media left, and we'd all have to like come to you and petition to borrow DVDs like Terminator 2 from you or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love physical media myself. I've got tons of
I've
books.
got a lot because I used to
I
be a
still,
music and video colleague at
yeah,
Asda.
I still buy DVDs and stuff. And
Yes.
I know you are a fan, of course.
Yes.
What is it about physical media that do you find so
Oh,
satisfying?
just having it. It's mine, innit?
It is a physical thing.
I'm not at the behest of some executive that decides we don't want to put this film on this streaming service this month because we want to put this other shite that we've made for 200 million pounds. That's crap. So I love the fact that if I want to watch a film and I know I've got it, I can just come across and go, right, there it is. Where's my alphabet? Find it, pluck it out, pop it on.
You've got it in
And
alphabet.
Alphabetical order.
yeah, so it's alphabetical
Oh,
order by film,
right.
and then the Blu-rays are at the bottom with the TV box sets to like counterweight the
Oh
bookcase.
my
And
goodness.
then I've got another box which has like sort of comedy, so like stand-up and TV comedy.
Hmm.
And then I've got, sadly, the me bookcases have filled me DVDs in. So then I've got two humongous piles of like Zeds and all that sort of stuff. Then I've got music ones, which are very basically just Robbie Williams ones. And um for some reason I've got a Stereophonics DVD, and I don't know where that's come from. I have a feeling someone gave me that out of pity or something. Um, and yeah, they're all in alphabetical order.
I
And
love that.
though does not go in T. It goes
No.
by the alphabet of
Yeah.
the next word. Same with A.
Mhm.
That makes
So,
that makes me happy. As I said, I
Yeah.
used to be a music video colleague at ASDA.
mm,
That was my first ever job, and I have too many DVDs. And when I moved from Bristol to Sunderland, I had quite a lot of boxes, and I'm
mm,
still traumatized from those journeys because of how many DVDs I possessed. I've had to cut down because I haven't got the space now, but
yeah.
I'm impressed with that, especially as someone who has ranted in the last year that I couldn't watch something I'd paid for because they
It's
no
a
longer had it.
joke.
I was like, I paid for that. Why? What?
Why are you taking it away
Yeah,
exactly? I mean,
yeah.
don't get us wrong, I've probably
Yeah.
got some ancient DVDs in there that could be essentially rotten. I haven't checked, but they're mine. No one, unless someone wants to burgle them,
Yeah.
offers. But I don't know why anyone would want Hollow Man on DVD stolen. Just
I'd steal Hollow Man, to be fair.
it's not bad. It's got some
You're
good
safe
gore in
with
it.
me.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. But no, I love me DVDs, and another thing that I've got collected is Empire magazines. I like physical books as well,
Oh,
so I've
yeah.
got every single issue of Empire magazine
Wow.
since January 2001,
Wow.
and there's a
That must
lot.
be a heck of a
Oh
pile of
yes,
magazines.
Is that the throne? That's going to be the throne of the
no, it
future.
could be. It's heavy enough,
That's the
because
footstool.
it could be the footstool. Yeah, it's not a bad
Yeah.
show, but I've
DVD
had to.
throne, footstool magazines.
The magazines are so heavy, I've had to, like, spread them across my house so it doesn't like affect, like, the weight
They
doesn't.
bore the floor.
Yeah. But there are quite a few and they are quite hefty, and when I move house, it's like I've got to pack them up, and then I pack them all in. Now they're all in date order from that time to now.
I love that.
Um so yeah.
I had to the last time we moved, I had to get rid of I finally got rid of all my VHS except for like a handful. I think I've got
Yeah.
about
I
10
still I've
VHS,
still got
which
the Buffy collection of
yeah.
VHS.
Oh
I,
wow.
this is stuff that I knew I wouldn't be able to replace. Like I've got a I'd looked for a couple of them and couldn't find them on DVD,
Mm.
so I thought I'll just keep them just in case.
I've got no VHS player. I don't know why
Oh
I've
no,
kept it, but
I don't have
I
it.
like the images on them still, so
Yeah.
they're mine. I'm not
I
gonna get rid
think
of
I
them.
think my parents have still got my VHSs, but I never had loads of them. I think I had Mrs. Doubtfire, Matilda, had a copy of Titanic, even though I never liked that film that much.
The two box set, the two VHSs together.
Aye, the two
Yeah.
VHSs together and the
Mm.
double. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves,
Mm.
Braveheart, which I think I was too young to have that. I'm pretty sure Braveheart was like at 15 because of the violence,
The
but
90s were a
At
different
least,
place.
yeah.
and I was not 15 when Braveheart came out. And what else did I have? Oh, I had a Pinky and Perky. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
a pink video of them, and if you
Oh
pressed
wow.
Pinky's face on the front, its eyes would light up. It was
Oh
quite
my
sinister,
gosh.
Oh
That's
God.
quite
brilliant.
sinister. And I don't know if they've still got that. And I definitely had a cassette of it was a Looney Tunes cassette VHS,
Mm.
and I used to just watch that. It was the same episode over and over again, and it was the one where Bugs Bunny would fall out of a plane and would try not to be sick. And I don't know why I remember that. I must have watched that so many times, and I'm pretty sure my
Ingrained.
parents have still got that. So yeah,
That's
Yeah.
I
brilliant.
don't have them here,
Wow.
sadly.
Wow. I mean, I think most of my VHS were probably recorded films off the TV.
Yeah, there are a few of them. Robin Hood, like Disney's Robin Hood. I
Disney's
had
Robin
that,
Hood, yeah.
and I
Yeah.
had that the caramel bunny advert about halfway through. I remember that as well.
That's me and my Rocky Horror video. I've got the VHS where it's got exactly the same advert. I love it.
That caramel bunny got everywhere,
She
absolutely
did.
everywhere. She was
Yep.
everywhere. Center Parks, I think that had an advert in the middle of it as well. If I remember rightly. But yeah.
Oh God. Did you ever like when chocolate bars used to have all of those instant win competitions in? There seemed to be like a
Mm.
flurry of them in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Did you ever win anything on
Did
them?
I piss? Nah, never. I ate all the chocolate in the world and won nothing, and I just got fat.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
I think it was M&M's when the Mr. Bean movie first came out. I
Oh
won a tea
God.
bag.
Oh, lucky.
I won a
What?
tea bag and I
Well,
actually
hey.
sent off and got a tea bag in the post with instructions on how to dry it to reuse it.
That couldn't have been cost effective for the people sending you the tea bag, though. You don't have to pay postage on that for a
Oh, I
tea
know.
bag. God, the 90s really were a different time, weren't
It
they?
was, oh,
People would just store off their chops on Toot and Britpop. They were like, we'll just send tea bags to people and
yeah.
chocolate
It's the
wrappers.
most British thing ever.
Uh, Was it a good quality tea bag or was it shite? Was it
Oh,
like a Tetley?
I never used it. I put it on the wall. I had like a little collage on the wall at the time, so I just put the tea bag on the wall.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
Oh dear me. Um, I heard a little birdie told me that you were playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I'm actually good at it. I played it with Jake
Hmm.
during COVID when again we were all locked up like cuckoos. And then my current where I work at the minute, someone asked if I fancied joining. I thought, oh, it'd be a laugh. And you get to have a bit natter with people and
Yeah.
some pizza and that. So the character the character I've got's just a kind of angry an angry dwarf paladin who's very, very good with a flail and just basically barrels in and wants to kill everything with a flail. Which is how I am in gaming. So like if I'm playing a game where your option is to go stealthy or to shoot everybody, I'll shoot everybody. I'm not really au fait on the whole stealthy. I just
Yeah.
blow the heads off sniper elite style. Um so yeah, I do I don't think I'm actually that good at it though. I've only
You
played it
don't
a
have
couple of
to be. You
times.
don't have to be good at D&D.
Okay, right, all
I've
right
been
then.
That's
playing
the rules.
tabletop games for like about 15, 16 years now, and I still don't think I'm creative enough to play them right.
Yeah. I'll usually have a reasonably creative idea, and I had a reasonably creative backstory, but then it's that kind of acting when you're in a small
Hmm.
group.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I just feel really embarrassed in myself when I do that, and I'm like,
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't mind when other people are doing it though, because
Yeah.
it's funny when they do it, but when I do, I'm like, oh, you're just making yourself look like a shithead.
Yeah.
Just be quiet, sit back,
No,
throw your flail around.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. Have you played any others, or is it just Dungeons and Dragons that you've had a go at?
Just D&D. So tabletop gaming is a proper blind spot for me.
Mm.
Um, is it because I didn't have any friends? No, I had some friends. But a lot of the people that I hung around with, that wasn't really their thing either.
Mm.
I was very much like a sporty, believe it or not, judging my physique now, you probably not guess, but I used to play a lot of football, and
Yeah.
when I gamed, it would be, on a PlayStation, or I'd be out playing football, or I'd be on me little Game Boy playing Pokemon Yellow or whatever. So yeah, tabletop gaming's only really something that I've started doing dead recently. And I
Hmm.
still don't quite understand the depth of the law around all of it, because I know there's a lot of law. There's a lot of law and a lot of variations in D&D and
Yeah.
different rule sets and all this fucking arse, and I just
Different editions, different races, all
I
of them.
just get whoever's the DM just to tell me if I'm wrong.
yeah, like
It
I could
seems
not be a
simpler.
DM. I don't know how
No,
DMs do
No,
it, me.
I'm not
no,
confident enough to be a DM yet, and
Nah.
no.
like I said, I've played for years. But I think a good DM would always kind of like see what you're going to say. What would your character do? And I'll see if I can like
Yeah.
wangle it into the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like adapt your story to what the characters would do.
Well, the current DM we've got asked for just a bit of a couple of paragraphs, or 2 or 3 paragraphs about your character, sort of why you're there,
Mm.
you know, relatives that you may have, and kind of your motivations, basically.
Hmm.
And then they would build that into the
Yeah.
characters and the story that they've got so far.
That's a good DM.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
very experienced. I think they've done this quite a lot. Clearly way more experienced than the 4 people that just trying to corral into actually playing the session properly. But yeah, it is one of the things that I never used to do, and it is quite interesting,
Mhm.
but I don't think I'm very good at it.
You don't have to be good though.
You really
I
I'll
mean,
don't.
try.
you
I'll
probably
try.
to be fair, you'll be better than you think.
Okay, I'll take that then. I'll take that.
You'll be because I like I said, I always think that of me, but kind of like sometimes I've often found that I've been the one that's pushing the story because I've been asking the right questions.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Mm. Right, we're going to go on to one of our regular features now for when we have a chat with people. And we're going to go on to our random D8 questions. Now, you'll recognize
Oh,
D8s because
Dungeons and Dragons dice roll in it. Yes.
What we've done is we've got 8 random questions, and I've got
Oh
a couple of
God.
D8s to choose from. I'll go through them in a minute. And I'm
Ooh.
going to roll the dice. I haven't got a camera for the dice set up, unfortunately, so you'll have to trust us on the question
We're not
numbers.
that
Okay.
posh yet.
We're not that posh yet. But yeah, I'll roll the dice and we'll ask you maybe 3 or 4 questions depending on how that goes.
All right.
So our options are Big Green.
Mm.
He's a was one. He's massive. We've got a little glow in the dark dude.
Mm-hmm.
We have a nice black and red one
Oh,
there.
snazzy. Bit brothely, that one. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a one here which I call Sparkly Piss because it's a luminous yellow and it's got glitter in it.
If your piss looks like that, please see your GP.
And we've got a see-through one here which has a little
Oh.
sword in it.
Oh, that's cool. I'll go with the sword one
Go
because
with the
my
sword.
current character has a long sword.
Let's have a
As in an
go.
actual sword, not as in a euphemism.
What's that say? 6.
Yeah.
Which fictional world would you like to live in for a month?
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And this is one of our questions that we ask. We try and ask everybody because it's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Ooh. Fictional what? Ooh.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a croaky throat tonight.
I don't know. Cough away. While I think. Oh, I'm
I was
stuck
going to say the
between.
ladies from Fem 93 last time said they want to be, was it Lord of the Rings? Was it Lord of the Rings they said?
Rivendell.
Yeah.
Rivendell. Oh no, Rivendell's snobby. I
A
wouldn't want to
bit,
live in
yeah, a bit.
Rivendell.
It was for the food though.
That's that. Okay, all right, I'll give them that. Ooh, I think I'd like to live. This might sound strange. I like to live in the same world as Shrek.
All right, so like
Ooh,
far, far away.
Yeah, I think
I
that would
like
be really
it.
interesting. I don't know if I'd be an
Mm.
ogre. I wouldn't want to be a human. Maybe I would want to be an ogre because you get like your own swamp and that. I think that would be really cool. And I'd be like a traveling ogre though, maybe like a nomadic ogre
Yeah.
who just is like a marketeer type. I'll go and sell me wares. I
I
think I
love
would
that.
probably live in that far, far away. And as Lord Farquaad wasn't around in the last one, but I'd like it if Lord Farquaad was there, but he'd like had a massive fall from grace, and I could
Yeah.
like throw stuff at him in the street. Um. So yeah, I think I'd live in far, far away.
I like that
That
one.
that
Yeah.
that's a good
That's
answer.
I
Yeah.
was thinking Lord of the Rings, and then I thought, well, I wouldn't want to live in Rivendell because the elves are snotty bastards. I wouldn't want to live in the Shire because it ends up getting, if you read the book, the ending's not great.
No, not at all. Bit
I
dark.
don't, yeah, I don't think I'd want to do that either. And I'd not want to be an orc because, Jesus, why would you want to be an orc? Just slimy and angry all the time.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, even the dwarves had a bit of a downfall. So you're not having a real good time if you're in Lord of the Rings. But yeah, I'll stick with Far, Far Away in Shrek's
Yeah,
world.
I
that's a
like
good
that
answer.
one.
Mm.
Do you want to stick to the same dice or should we try one of the other ones?
Go for the big green because as soon as you said
Green.
it, I thought of a big
Right.
snot.
Hang on then. I haven't got my dice tray and I have no idea where it's gone, so bear with me.
It's all right.
That is number 4.
Mm.
Right, we've got a fantasy wrestling match for you.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Blobby versus the Trunch Bull. Who and how
Yes.
Oh,
would
I'm so glad this question.
who and how would they win?
Yes.
now I think Blobby will win by DQ
Hmm.
because Noel Edmonds will interfere and will distract Trunchbull. And then Mr. Blobby will give Miss Trunchbull the Rude Awakening, which is Rick Rude's finisher.
Right,
And
yeah.
that will knock her out, and Blobby will pin cleanly, but it will be by a DQ finish. So I think, yeah, DQ finish because of Edmund's interference.
Love
Trunchbull
it.
will lose. And it'll be like it'll be about a 50-minute match. Blobby will take the beating the entire time. Trunchbull will just beat the shit out of him, but she'll get too cocky, too arrogant. She'll start mouthing off to the crowd and wandering around going, ah, and all that sort of thing. Could pick a child up from the audience and swing them around by their pigtails and
Yeah.
whatever. And then, yeah, Noel Edmonds will run in, save Blobby with a distraction. Maybe 7 out. I don't know what Noel Edmonds would do shout crinkly bottom or something at her. And then, yeah, she'll get distracted.
Yeah.
Blobby gets the rude awakening. Blobby wins. 1, 2,
Excellent.
3.
Excellent.
I want to see that fantasy wrestling match. Mr.
Me
Blobby
too.
has actually been
Yeah.
seen at wrestling matches, I believe, as well. In like the Northwest. I think he's been at like Progress, maybe he's a Rev Pro, one of them two. He's actually been seen around.
Spotted in the wild.
Yeah. Well, Les Battersby was apparently was at a wrestling show last year, I think in Manchester.
Oh, from like Coronation
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah.
Les
Oh,
Battersby,
right.
yeah.
Yes. That took us a second to think.
So what it's not beyond the pale that Blobby could come and wrestle somewhere.
No.
Mm.
That would be really interesting to see, actually.
I'd like to see a Blobby versus Blobby match. A Blobby versus Mrs.
Oh.
Blobby.
Oh.
For custody of baby Blobby, like they did with Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero for custody of Dominic. But with the
Yeah.
Blobbies. Oh, please, someone write that down. We need to get that on the board somewhere.
Okay.
That sounds like a Top Grumps episode.
It does, actually.
And not a Wonk
Oh.
takeover episode either.
No. Right, shall we do another one?
Go on then, go for that brothely looking one. The burlesque looking
The
dice.
burlesque one.
Yeah. Burlesque's better than brothely.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, that was a 4. We'll have to re-roll because that was the wrestling one.
Oh, okay.
I can't read the numbers on this. That is number 1.
Ooh.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to do 80s versus 90s.
Okay.
Movies?
Ooh, that's a shitter of a question. Oh, that's horrible. What an awful question. Oh. My 2 favorite films of all time. One is 1989 and one is 1998. So this is killing me. But then no, 1982. Ooh, oh. 80s.
80s?
Yes.
Yes.
Hold on. That's an awful question because my top 3 favorite films, and they're usually just is The Thing, Lethal Weapon 2, and The Big Lebowski. They're my 3 favorite
Oh,
films.
Lebowski,
Okay.
good show.
So bollocks. I'm trying to think what is more consistently great in terms of films. Oh, nah. Oh, but then Last Crusade was 89, I think. Fuck it, yeah, it is.
80s?
Yeah. God, that's really hard. A horrible question that is. Oh,
Right?
Oh. Music?
music. Oh, oh. Again, an awful question.
We broke Sloop.
Oh, but like, no, just depends what genre as well. I think for me, if it was, you have your brokers. That's a horrible question. I'm trying to look over me CD things to see what the most stuff I've got. I'm gonna say 90s for that.
90s for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, this is awful. It's awful.
There's
Yeah.
only one more.
Okay.
Wrestling.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I didn't say it'd be easy.
So I've seen a lot more 90s than I have 80s.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to say 90s because I know it better and I've seen it more, and that's where a lot of my memories lie. So I'm gonna have to say 90s for that.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Right. I think we've got time for one more.
Go on
Which
then.
dice do you want?
What was the second to last one? That wasn't the one with the sword in. If that helps.
Was that the glitter piss?
That's glitter piss. Go on, glitter piss it.
No, we've just done that one.
Okay.
6. So we've done that one as well. Damn.
We've done 1, 4, and 6 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
8. What's your
Ooh.
go-to Greg's order?
Oh, mornings. If I go in the mornings, it'll be a peppermint tea and a croissant or a pan au chocolat. If I go in for dinner, it'll usually be a steak bake. And if I'm feeling really greedy, I'll get a sausage roll as well. And if I'm feeling super greedy, I'll also buy myself a packet of stotties to take home. That's me Greg's order. Always steak baked for me. That's always been top of the top tier pastry. I don't understand the chicken ones look like mashed.
Yeah.
Like it looks a bit like semen, to be honest, like
Ugh.
claggy jizz. So I
Yeah.
can't eat that. And I love chicken. And then the sausage and bean melts. They're always cold when I ever had
I'll
them.
see. They're my favorite after the seasonal bake.
I've never had a seasonal
Oh,
bake.
they're
I've
good.
had them. Is it the chicken and like pepperoni-ish type ones? Was there something like that that we're doing? Was it?
Might be. I haven't had that one.
Yeah. It wasn't a festive one, but it might have been
Yeah,
a random one that did.
like
That was really
the
good.
festive bake is my favorite one. I am very excited when November comes around and I get to have my festive bake.
No, I'm with you on the steak bake. Like,
Love them.
especially if they're hot.
I mean, not like lava hot,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
like when
no,
you're biting.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it's just, I know it's probably cheap meat and it's bad for us, but it's just buttery and delightful.
yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be it.
Right, we're going to start to wrap this up now.
Cool.
Obviously, mentioned it a few times, it's Women's History Month. Are there any women that you would like to shout out, Sloop, that have been an inspiration to you?
Ooh. Ooh. Is it sad that I can't think of anyone? No. Ooh. Could it be like IRL people or just
Anyone? There's no
Anyone?
rules.
anyone?
There's no
Anyone?
rules.
Okay, well, me mum,
Aw.
because she's a good mother.
Aw, that's
Um,
lovely.
that's sad. She'll never see it, but it's nice to
Still
shout it out
sweet. It's still
anyway.
sweet.
It's out there though.
Um, an old swimming coach who was a woman,
Mm.
because confidence, very much confidence building. I would never been able to properly like learn how to swim because I used to swim reasonably competitively back in the day. So that person. And in terms of like well-known people, just any woman who just doesn't give a shit, to be honest, and is happy who they want to be and project out into the world,
Yeah.
because it's can be rough, can't it?
Aye,
So
just a little.
just a bit rough. But yeah, anyone who's happy to be who they want to be, in my humble opinion, is better than any well-known human. So
Good.
yeah.
I like that.
Wonderful. Yes. Have you got anything in the works that you would like to promote, Sloop?
No, apart from the Rumblecast, I'll be hopefully regularly on it. I think that's the idea. So that's just something we do on Nerdy Up North Twitch channel every month. It's not sort of set every single month at a particular time, but we'll find a day within that month to do it, usually on a Wednesday night. So if you want to come over and watch me and Jake talk about a little bit of wrestling, then feel free. The idea is behind it is that we'll choose a pay-per-view each month. It can be an old one, it can be a modern one, it can be any particular promotion. It doesn't have to be the big two, as you would say.
Mhm.
Oh, well, that's TNA as well. So are they big? Yeah, they're semi-big. So they can class as that as well. And we'll just chat shit and chat about stuff that we thought was funny, stuff that we thought was shite, stuff that we thought was good. So if you like that sort of stuff, pop along. And it does get released on Spotify as well. So if you do want to listen to it instead of watching us and my ugly mugs, you can find us on Spotify under the Rumblecast.
And you said the next one was the 9th.
I believe it's April the 9th. We do have a special guest on.
Ooh.
The dratted person who picked this pay-per-view, who is a fellow Twitch streamer. I say a fellow Twitch streamer, I don't stream anymore. She is also a Twitch streamer and a comedian, which is Angel Interceptor. So I do watch a lot of
Oh,
Angel
yes.
Interceptor. Go and follow her if you don't already follow her as well on
Mhm.
Twitch, because she's bloody hilarious and very actually genuinely good at gaming as well.
Yeah.
She'll be the guest of honor on that podcast as well. So it'll be the three of us having a little natter.
Yay.
Nice.
Wonderful. Well, we've got this week the main podcast is covering it. They're doing the movie, although I know Sammy and Kelly, who are going to be on it this week, have read the book as well. Monsters Up North will be back on Monday, and they're going to do The Faculty this week. Top Grumps will be Tuesday lunchtime. I believe it's Indiana Jones for them. We've got the Twitch channel where Jake streams, sometimes Chris, and coming soon Becca.
Yay.
And they do like horror, Mario, Minecraft, all sorts. And of course, there's Anime Club with Phoebes and Chris as well, who that should have been out yesterday, and they did Trigun. And then there's Trekking Up North doing their own thing on their YouTube, reviewing episodes chosen by the Dabble Wheel. And of course, Women of Nerd Culture, we're still shouting out women every day for the month of March over on our Instagram and our TikTok. Nearly forgot to tell everybody about ourselves.
Because we're so community orientated, we'll let everyone else.
Exactly.
We'll tell everybody else what everybody else is doing
we
first.
are discussing every day different women who inspire us, who we like, a little bit of a history lesson. So yeah, it's been an interesting month doing these videos. It's definitely been interesting, and I'm enjoying it. And I have work colleagues who watch it, so that's a little bit weird.
Oh.
Hi, Becca's work colleagues.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
But yes, thank you very much, Sloop, for coming on.
Thank you for having us. It's been
yes.
a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
It's been great just to sit and have a chat, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's been really good. So, over to you, Becca.
Yep, so keep your hearts full and your fandoms first, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.